city tried to get rid of rats, so it paid people for rat tails, and somehow the city ended up with rats still running around, just edited. That was not the plan. The plan sounded clean. Bring us rat tails. We give you money. More tails means fewer rats. Simple, tiny problem. The rule paid for tails, not dead rats, and when humans pay for the wrong thing, reality gets very good at paperwork. This happened in Hanoi in 1902, when Vietnam was part of French Indochina. French colonial authorities wanted Hanoi to look modern, clean, and controlled. They had built new streets, European-style buildings, and a sewer system that was supposed to show progress. But the sewer system had a feature nobody put on the brochure. It was excellent for rats. Dark tunnels, shelter, food nearby, a hidden highway under the city. Above ground, it looked like modern infrastructure. Below ground, the rats saw real estate. And this was not just an ugly problem. Rats could carry disease, and plague was a serious fear in many parts of the world at the time. So officials wanted the rats gone. First, they hired professional rat catchers. Men went down into the sewers to kill rats. Dirty work, dangerous work, the kind of job where every tunnel looks like it might contain filth, disease, and something with teeth. For a while, the numbers looked impressive. Thousands of rats killed, then more, then even more. On paper, the campaign looked active and serious, but there were still rats. Lots of rats. So the authorities tried a new idea. Let the public help. Offer a bounty. Pay people for every rat. Except there was one practical problem. Nobody wanted piles of dead rats carried into municipal offices. Understandable. A government office already has enough problems without becoming a rat warehouse. So the proof became simpler. Bring the tail. The tail proves the rat is dead, clean, efficient. At least that was the theory. But incentives do not reward what you meant. They reward what you measured. The authorities wanted fewer rats, but they measured tails. So people optimized for tails, and a rat tail can be removed without removing the rat. That tiny difference ruined everything. Some rat catchers realized that if they killed every rat, the business would eventually end. But if they cut off the tail and released the rat, that rat could go back into the sewer and help create more future tails. This is the moment pest control becomes a rat subscription service. The city thought it was buying dead rats. Some people were selling rat parts, and the rats, minus dignity and tails, were still alive. Officials reportedly began seeing tailless rats moving through the city. That image tells the whole story. A rat runs past, no tail. A human stares. The paperwork says progress. The street says no. No spreadsheet could explain the failure better than that animal. It was living proof that the system had been hacked, not with computers, not with secret codes, with scissors, money, and a rule that measured the wrong thing. And then the incentive got even worse. There were reports that people began breeding rats outside the city to collect more tails. Because once a rat tail has a price, a rat is no longer just a pest. It is a small moving coin. That is the trap. The government tried to make rats worthless by killing them. Instead, it accidentally made rats valuable. Not the whole rat, just the tail. So now the system was telling people, more rat tails equals more money. And if more rat tails require more rats, congratulations, you have created a rat economy. This is why the Hanoi rat story is so useful. It is not only about animals, it is about measurement. The officials confused the sign of success with success itself. A tail was supposed to represent a dead rat, but once money entered the system, the tail became the product, not public health, not fewer rats, not cleaner streets. The tail, a tiny strip of proof, became the whole game. And once the game changed, people played the new game. That does not mean everyone involved was evil. Some people were poor. Some were doing dangerous work for money. Some were just responding to the incentive in front of them. The bigger joke is not on the rat catchers. The joke is on the system that thought one simple metric could control a messy reality. Because rats are not just objects on a list. They breed, they hide, they move through infrastructure, and humans respond to rewards. Put those two together, and a clean policy can turn into a dirty little machine. Rat problem. Tail reward. Tail cutting. Rat release. More rats. More tails. More rewards. Less solution. It is almost elegant in the worst possible way. The campaign was eventually stopped because when your anti-rat plan appears to encourage rat production, the plan has become the rat's business partner, and that is a hard sentence to put in a report. The deeper lesson is simple. Be careful what you pay for. If you pay for dead cobras, people may breed cobras. If you pay for test scores, people may teach only the test. If you pay for clicks, people may make worse content. If you pay for rat tails, people may bring you rat tails. Not fewer rats. Rat tails. The measured thing becomes the target. And when the target is badly chosen, everyone can hit the target while missing the point. That is exactly what happened in Hanoi. The authorities wanted to reduce a real public health risk, but they built an incentive that separated the reward from the actual goal. A dead rat helps reduce the rat population. A removed tail does not if the rat goes back into the sewer. Even worse, a released rat can keep reproducing. So the city was not just failing to solve the problem, it may have been feeding the conditions that kept the problem alive. That is the strange cruelty of a bad incentive. It can make smart people do dumb things. It can make useful work turn useless. It can make a city celebrate numbers that do not mean what they think they mean. Thousands of tails, beautiful numbers, terrible reality. The sewer still moves. The rats still breed. The office still counts. And somewhere in the street, a tailless rat becomes the most honest report in the city. That is why this story still feels modern. Humans still love simple numbers. Numbers feel safe. Numbers feel official. Numbers make people think they understand what is happening. But a number is only useful if it measures the right thing. If the number can be gamed, the number becomes a trap. In Hanoi, the number was tails. More tails should have meant fewer rats. Instead, more tails could mean more people cutting tails. The rule did not force reality to improve. It taught people how to perform improvement. And performance is not the same as success. So the city wanted cleanliness. It got paperwork. The city wanted fewer rats. It got tailless rats. The city wanted control. It got a lesson in incentives crawling through the sewer. The plan was simple. Pay for rat tails, reduce the rats, protect the city. But the reward pointed at the wrong target. People followed the money, rats kept moving, and Hanoi learned a very old rule in a very disgusting way. When you pay for the symbol of success, do not be surprised when people bring you the symbol and leave the problem alive. If you liked this one, the next video is right here. Go watch that. And as always, let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching, dummies. I'll see you in the next one.